The Lakers just wrapped up their second preseason game. And yes, their second straight loss. But let's be real. These games don't matter. Luka Doncic didn't play. LeBron didn't play. Austin Reeves didn't play. And even Marcus Smart sat out. Almost half the main rotation wasn't on the floor. By the second half, it was basically a bunch of training camp guys. Players most fans couldn't even recognize if they walked by. So, don't panic or start overanalyzing. Still, there are a few things worth noticing from both games. Some players impressed, some looked bad, and the team system clearly isn't clicking yet. They need way more chemistry. On offense, defense, or maybe both. A couple of players have looked sharp enough to maybe deserve a shot in the starting lineup. So let's get into it. What actually matters, what doesn't, and if any changes should happen after two meaningless games. And first up, Jared Vanderbilt. Last night, he was solid on both ends of the floor. Yes, even on offense. And that's not something we say about him often. Vanderbilt's defense was on point. Elite at guarding the ball, smart at creating turnovers, and strong on the boards. He's easily one of the best rebounding wings on the roster. But what really stood out was his offense. It's not every day you see Jared Vanderbilt drop 9 points in just 21 minutes, knock down a three, pull off a few Euro steps at the rim, and finish with both hands. That's exactly what he did last night. His performance even caught the eye of J.J. Redick after several Lakers reporters pressed him about Vanderbilt, asking if he might earn more minutes, how Redick feels about his play right now, and whether Vanderbilt could actually make his way into the starting lineup. Here's what Redick had to say.
You would be among the more qualified people in the world to kind of take us through Vanderbilt's shot, and just it just looks a little cleaner from a layman's perspective, and the release and all that, and just added with how he looks physically and defensively, all the stuff that you know he can do. Does that make you think even a little bit more about, all right, maybe you could find some more minutes for him, or not find, but you almost have to consider?
People are going to earn minutes. I think that goes for everybody. I've been very impressed by just the amount of work that he's done this summer on his game, and obviously his body is significantly better than this time last year, or even when the season ended. He's moving better. His handle is tighter. I'd never have ever seen him make a Euro D-cell finish. It's good. He's been working on his game, and the shot is sort of the big thing with him. If he can be a consistent three-point shooter for us, that unlocks a lot.
Sticking with Vando, he made a corner three. He had another one that he missed, but he gave it a shot to make it. And obviously he filled the stat sheet all over the place. I know you told us you don't really care about the starting lineup, and it's not something that you're spending a ton of time considering. But is there a consideration for him with the starting group?
Again, I said that we started 24 lineups last year. The team that started, or the lineup that started the season for us, started 8 games together, and we made a change. So I'm of course open to things, of course, and like I said, everything's going to have to be earned.
Once again, J.J. Redick had nothing but praise for Jared Vanderbilt. His health, his energy, and the way he's moving on the court. Surprisingly, he even complimented Vanderbilt's offense. Remember, Redick didn't really get to see the best version of Vanderbilt last season. So this improvement is catching attention now. That definitely wasn't Jared Vanderbilt's best version. Not even close, honestly. Offensively or defensively, he just wasn't himself. Part of that was the awkward role he got stuck in after the trade for Luka Doncic, and the move that sent out Anthony Davis, which left the team a lot smaller after the deadline. That was right around when Vanderbilt got healthy again. But instead of using him properly, they had him playing the 4, and sometimes even the 5, guarding near the rim instead of at the point of attack, where he thrives. That's just not his game. Now though, he's finally back in a role that actually suits him. Healthier, more confident, and showing his full skill set on both ends. Redick is finally seeing what Vanderbilt can really do. But does that mean he should join the starting lineup? Maybe. Like Redick said, it's worth thinking about, but it's far from a sure thing. Remember, he locked in a starting lineup early last season, then scrapped it fast. That group only played 8 games together. and the Lakers ended up using 25 different starting lineups. So this time, he's clearly being more cautious. Having a fixed five-man starting lineup for most or all of the season just isn't realistic. Players go through ups and downs. Some struggle on offense, others on defense, and injuries always happen. So, there's really no need to lock in a set lineup right now. What matters more is having strong options. And Jared Vanderbilt is definitely one of them. Everyone already knew heading into this season that Vanderbilt might be the Lakers' best defender, and definitely their most versatile one. He can guard positions 1 through 4, something no one else on this roster can really do consistently. Maybe Jalen Hood-Schifino will reach that level someday, but not yet. Having a fully healthy, confident Vanderbilt gives the Lakers a big defensive boost to consider for opening night. Because let's be honest, their defense hasn't looked good so far. And with Luka Doncic, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, none of whom are exactly lockdown defenders, they'll need someone who can take on the tough matchups. Without Vanderbilt, who's really stepping up? Rui Hachimura? Can Rui Hachimura really handle that role? I mean, he was basically forced into it last season, and it didn't go all that well. Between him and Austin Reeves, neither was awful defensively, but neither was reliable enough to take on tough matchups either. You don't want them stuck doing that again. And with Marcus Smart still getting back into rhythm, not seriously injured, but missing chunks of training camp and preseason, he's probably not the best choice right now either. It's not about his skill, it's about chemistry. Without enough reps with the main group, Smart might fit better off the bench for now. In theory, he makes sense as a starter. He's a versatile defender and a better offensive player than Vanderbilt, with stronger playmaking, ball handling, and shooting. But since he's not fully cleared for 5-on-5 work or full-speed play yet, Vanderbilt might end up taking that spot simply because he's healthy and available. Kind of ironic, but that's how it goes sometimes. When it comes to Jared Vanderbilt, it's just great to finally see him healthy again. If you ask me, yes, he absolutely deserves to be in the conversation for a starting spot. But let's be real, nothing's set in stone yet. JJ Redick hasn't confirmed anything, and honestly, he probably doesn't care much about naming a fixed lineup this early. He changed it constantly last season, and clearly values flexibility over labels. In fact, I think the closing lineup matters way more than the starting one. Still, Vanderbilt should be in serious consideration, especially for what he brings defensively and for helping balance the team's offense and defense across the rotation. He'd be a solid choice, particularly if he keeps improving his three-point shot. That's an underrated part of the conversation here. His shot form actually looks smoother during training camp and preseason, even if the results aren't fully there yet. Just 1 for 6 in 2 games. But that one make looked clean, and if that progress continues, it could change things fast. The shooting motion actually looks legit, smoother and more confident. And that confidence seems real for Jared Vanderbilt. If he keeps building on that throughout the season and combines it with his old high-energy defensive form, then he'd be a seriously strong choice for both the starting and closing lineups. But moving on, there are a few other takeaways worth mentioning, starting with DeAndre Ayton. No, his offense shouldn't worry anyone yet. He's only scored 8 total points through 2 preseason games. But come on, there's been no Luka Doncic, no LeBron, no Austin Reeves, and no Marcus Smart off the bench. There's basically been no reliable playmaking around him. The lob passes he's getting are sloppy, and the fact that he's managed to finish a few says a lot. He's not running much pick and roll right now, mostly getting dump-off passes near the rim or working handoffs. He's just not involved in many real offensive sets yet, which will definitely change once the main playmakers are back. That said, ignoring the offense for now, Ayton has actually looked solid defensively. He's honestly been one of the few players who's looked decent to above average on defense this preseason. Mainly him and Jared Vanderbilt. Those two have pretty much carried the defensive effort so far. Ayton's shown solid rim protection at times and has been a strong defensive rebounder. Probably his best contribution right now. Beyond that, his overall effort and commitment on both ends have been encouraging. You can see he's actually trying to make the hustle plays, diving for loose balls, contesting shots, doing the little things that often go unnoticed. That's a great sign, especially this early in the year. But outside of that, there really isn't much else positive to highlight. Not many big takeaways at all, honestly. These are just preseason games that don't count, and they're missing their three main offensive guys. It's hard to take too much from that. Still, the defense as a whole clearly needs work. Team communication has been rough, rotations are off, and they just look disconnected on that end. The overall execution on defense has been rough. The switching looks sloppy, and the entire defensive scheme just isn't clicking. That absolutely needs work. Sure, we can complain about the offense, but that's without Luka Doncic, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, guys who drive the scoring. That excuse doesn't fly for the defense. Those three aren't defensive anchors anyway, so the rest of the team should actually look better defensively without them. But they haven't. From that perspective, improvement is a must. Yes, the lack of chemistry plays a part. With new faces like DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, and training camp players such as RJ Davis, Nate Williams, and Nick Smith Jr., who likely won't even be in the main rotation, it's understandable. Still, you'd like to see sharper team defense moving forward. And for one last takeaway, there's the quiet but interesting rotation battle between Gabe Vincent, Dalton Knecht, and Bronny James. Some fans were saying Knecht should take Vincent's minutes, or even that Bronny might push for a spot. But honestly, at this point, it's not even close to a real competition. Gabe Vincent looked really good in their second preseason game, while both Dalton Knecht and Bronny James struggled in games 1 and 2 on both ends of the court. At this point, it's not even close to a competition. Vincent's clearly earned his spot in the rotation. JJ Redick has praised him heavily for his play on offense and defense, calling him an important part of the lineup moving forward. That same confidence definitely hasn't been shown toward Knecht or Bronny. So yeah, you can pencil Vincent into the regular rotation, and probably higher than the 9th or 10th spot people were projecting earlier. In fact, if Marcus Smart can't stay fully healthy, and while he's not technically injured, the team is clearly being cautious with him, Vincent could end up seeing more minutes and becoming a bigger piece of the rotation than Smart himself. That's a big if, but it's possible. Overall, I've really liked what Vincent's shown so far, and the lack of impact from Knecht and Bronny has been disappointing. Something worth keeping an eye on moving forward. So yeah, those are the main takeaways so far. The negatives with Dalton Knecht and Bronny James, and the positives with Jared Vanderbilt, DeAndre Ayton, and even Gabe Vincent to some extent. There's definitely something to learn from all of it, but it's still too early to overanalyze. There's plenty of training camp left, and 4 more preseason games to go. So players still have time to step up or prove what they've already shown is real. With all that said, what do you think? What are your preseason takeaways so far? What are you watching closely or hoping to see improve? Do you think JJ Redick should start tweaking the lineup already? Or wait it out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's going to wrap this one up. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next upload. Thanks for watching, and have an awesome day or night.